would always assume that cricketers have these kind of conversations with each other.
No.
No? Is it just it's
Predominantly.
a lot of, but is there
It's very hard to have deep conversations with cricketers because it's a very insecure world.
So we've heard.
It's a very, very insecure world. Especially in India, it's a very competitive world. So it's very hard for people to be real, for people to be vulnerable, for people to have deep conversations because they're insecure of their spot. It's just the ecosystem. Even if someone isn't insecure, the ecosystem will drive you towards being that because the competition, Ranveer, is so huge. It's like human nature. Where there is value, volume is less. Where there is volume, value is less. In India, volume is massive. Now today, Virat Kohli didn't play a 5-match series against England. We still won the series 4-1 and nobody missed Virat Kohli in that side because there were Yashasvi Jaiswal who came up, Shubman Gill who came up, Rohit Sharma who stood up. Like there were multiple guys, Bumrah who stood up, Kuldeep Yadav who stood up, Jadeja who stood up. Multiple guys stood up and performed. Quality is there. Quality हमेशा रहेगा हमारे देश में. It'll always be there. And that is why it makes the ecosystem very insecure. And to sustain yourself in the Indian cricket team, it is much more than just being a good cricketer. It's much more than just having the skills at a very high level. It's way more than that.
There's a people's game as well. They're sucking up.
Like you cannot imagine. It's you have to play the game. And kudos to the guys who can actually play the game. Because to have the wherewithal and the understanding to be able to play that game is incredible. I can tell you very honestly, I had no clue at 20 that needed to be done. I was very, like I said, in the flow. I was like, I wouldn't, today I'm friends with everybody in the fraternity, in a sense. Like I get on with everybody in the fraternity, right? I don't have close friends. I do have close friends, but for the most part, I get on with everyone, and, but most cricketers will have really close friends, I would say I have maybe 2 or 3, 4, if that. And it's a very, it's an ecosystem where it's not a very trusting ecosystem.
Because everyone's
competing with each other.
It's an individual sport played in a team environment.
Yeah. That's what I said. It's such a dynamic sport that you play an individual sport within a team sport. And you need to learn to balance that in a very fine manner. And that line is very thin.
And this balance or this game, which is like the social game, happens in hotel rooms, happens on team buses.
Yeah.
Perhaps everywhere outside the field, the dressing room, etc.
Yeah, everywhere. And, the guys who actually do it have longer careers. The guys who don't do it, or don't know to do it, or don't want to do it, don't have such long careers. Case in point, I would say Ambati. Amba was one of them. Just played cricket for the love of the game. Did his business, got out. I was one of them. Played my cricket, got out. And even though some of my closest friends, like Mahi was one of my closest friends, Irfan's one of my closest friends, get on massively with Virat. All of these guys. But didn't, or one is I wasn't aware that needed to be done, perhaps, or I didn't do it, didn't want to do it also. I always believe that, okay, whatever I will play, I'll play by my own strength, by my own means. And very grateful to God that by doing that, I've won multiple IPLs, I've won a World Cup, I've been a part of Indian cricket teams that have had such famous victories that have changed the dimensions of Indian cricket. I'm very grateful to God for all of those experiences, and those are experiences I'll take to my grave. I won't exchange them for anything. I have no regrets whatsoever, in a sense, as far as what I've done in Indian cricket.
Okay, firstly, about what I'm about to say, I shouldn't be having an opinion, but I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. One, I have not even played cricket on a coaching level, okay? But I've been a professional and I've spoken to professionals from all sorts of industries. I think this people's angle is there in like every industry.
For sure.
It's unfortunate that it's there in cricket, honestly, because it should be just...
It shouldn't, but if you look at it across the board, if you look at it, as in, it's then in the corporate world, It's there in every world. It's there in the film industry. It's there in the political world.
Yeah.
You need to suck up to grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, up the ladder, right? And you need to have the wherewithal also to do it. Yeah. And the conviction also within yourself ki, yaar, I'll do this and then it'll get me there, and to be comfortable to do it also. And some people aren't, and some people are, and that's the way that they're built. If you're built that way, you're comfortable to do it, great, yeah, and it's fair enough. And at the end of the day, you have to understand, in sport, at least in my field, it's a short career. We don't have careers for 40 years or 50 years.
And you're very young.
Yeah. And we start really young. So if you're extremely lucky and you've had an extremely successful career, you've had a 20-year career. That's very rare. Very rare. If you've had a hugely successful career, again, very lucky, 15 to 20-year career. A normal career is 10 years. A decent career is 5 to 8 years. And you have to make it count, make break within all of that, yeah.